Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Restore 2023. We're coming to the end of 2 Chronicles, and today, forget about a tale of 2 cities. This is a tale of 2 kings, one very good, the other absolutely dreadful. Jotham and Ahaz. Hard to believe they're both from the same family, really. Uzziah, the pretty good king of Judah, comes apart at the end of his life and gets proud and arrogant. He goes into the presence of God and burns incense. The priests confront him, but he won't back down. He comes out of the temple with leprosy, and the last few years of his life are as an outcast. During this time, Jotham, his son, is his co-regent, and 2 Chronicles 27 is all about him. Jotham means God is perfect or complete. He's the 11th king of Judah. He's 25 when he comes to the throne, and he lasts 16 years. Besides having a good father in Uzziah, he has a godly mum in Jerusha, the prophet, Zadok's daughter. And it shows. The scripture says he walked steadfastly before the Lord his God all his life. But his people didn't follow his lead very well. God gives him success against his enemies, particularly against the old enemy of Israel, the Ammonites, who become subject to him for years. He reigns during the prophecies of Isaiah, Hosea, Amos, and Micah. No doubt he listened to them, if only his people had done so. He dies and is buried with full honours in the tombs of the kings of Judah in Jerusalem. A really good king, personally devout before God and obedient, destroying open idolatry and trusting God rather than only looking at alliances with other countries. The contrast with Ahaz, his son, is painful beyond words. Ahaz, who has had a godly father, becomes king at age 20. He reigns about the same time as his father did, though I'll bet his people wished he hadn't. He even had a godly wife in the form of Abijah, who was the daughter of Zechariah the prophet, who would be Hezekiah's mother. But he chose to do things the world's way, with idolatry of the worst and most obnoxious type, and relying on alliances with other horrible regimes nearby. He made idols. He sacrificed to the gods of Syria and Assyria. He offered some of his sons as burnt offerings. He burned incense to pagan gods all over the place, at altars, shrines, and groves. Can you imagine a man like this on the throne of David in Jerusalem? And God sends the Syrians against him. They took away many of his people to Damascus. God sends Israel against him. Can you imagine it? And he sends Isaiah the prophet to him. You can read about it in Isaiah 7. Isaiah asks Ahaz to name a sign that the Lord has not departed from him and abandoned him. Ahaz refuses. So we get that tremendous passage we often read at Christmas about the sign of a virgin being with child, and the child shall be called God with us, Emmanuel. But Ahaz is unmoved. Ahaz loses grievously to Israel. 120,000 of his soldiers are dead in one day, including one of his sons and another top officer. Israel takes away lots of plunder and hundreds of the people of Judah as slaves back to Samaria, soldiers doing what soldiers do. But God isn't having that. He has a strategically placed prophet in Ephraim named Oded. And Oded rips into them, telling them that God had indeed used them to punish Israel, but they've gone a bit mad with a huge slaughter that reaches to the heavens. Our phrase will be, it stinks to high heaven. And how dare they take their fellow countrymen as slaves? You're sinners too. God is furious with you. The elders in Ephraim listen. They demand that the soldiers give up their plunder, see to the needs of the Judeans in terms of food, drink, clothes, and medicine, and then take them all to Jericho in Judean territory, the weaker ones on donkeys. Is this where the idea of the Good Samaritan comes from? But what a humiliation for Ahaz. So what does he do? Turn back to the Lord? No. He's learnt nothing, it seems. He reaches out to the Assyrians, the Babylonians, because Edomites are attacking Judah and the Philistines are attacking in the Negev. The king of Assyria is Tiglath-Pileser, a cruel and aggressive man. Ahaz tries to stuff his mouth with gold taken from the temple and his own royal palace. It does him no good at all. He continues to worship the gods of the Syrians and Assyrians on the basis that they are obviously powerful gods. Indeed, he closes up the temple of the Lord and sets up altars everywhere, including pagan altars in every town in his country. His reign ends in ignominy. He was buried in Jerusalem, but they couldn't bring themselves to bury him in the tombs of the kings of Israel. It's hard to find anything good to say about his reign, except he had a rather remarkable son called Hezekiah, one of the best kings Judah ever had, steers into the ways of godliness by his mother, Abijah, the prophet's daughter, against all the odds. But that's for tomorrow. For today, never underestimate the power of a praying, godly mother, and never underestimate God's ongoing faithfulness to his people. Have a good day.